Lewis Hamilton is about to get a major upgrade, and just in time. With Ferrari feeling the heat as they head into the famous Monaco Grand Prix, news just leaked about some big changes to Hamilton's SF-25 car. And these aren't just tiny fixes, we're talking about a whole new approach that could totally change his weekend. This is the first real sign that Ferrari is done playing it safe. They're ready to fight for more than just keeping up. Hamilton's journey with Ferrari was never going to be a walk in the park, but this weekend in Monaco could be the turning point. After weeks of struggles, confusing race strategies, and not so great finishes, Ferrari is finally making a move. These new upgrades? They're built specifically for Monaco's tight, twisty track, where there's no room for mistakes and qualifying is everything. Ferrari knows this race is special. It's the crown jewel of Formula One, and they've decided to take what used to work, supercharge it, and give Hamilton the tools he needs to shine. So, what exactly has changed, and how will it help Hamilton in Monaco? Stick around, give this video a like, and hit that subscribe button because we're diving into every detail of these crazy upgrades and what they could mean for one of the biggest races in Formula One. Let's break it down. The biggest news heading into the Monaco Grand Prix? Ferrari is bringing back a special rear wing from the older SF-24 car. This isn't just any old part, it's the same wing used during Charles Leclerc's amazing weekends in Monaco back in 2018 and 2024. It was designed specifically to handle the tight, twisty streets of Monaco. This wing creates a lot more downforce, which helps the car stick to the track better at low speeds. That's super important in Monaco, where there aren't any long straights, and being fast in the corners is everything. Thanks to its longer shape, sharper angle, and smart side design, this wing helps the car grip the road without slowing it down too much. In a race where every inch matters and passing is nearly impossible, this could give Hamilton the edge he needs to dominate. Ferrari's decision to bring back the old rear wing isn't just for looks, and it's definitely not just for nostalgia. It's because the current version of the SF-25 just hasn't been cutting it. The latest data from Ferrari's testing and simulations shows that the back of the car hasn't been stable enough, especially when drivers hit the gas coming out of corners. And in a place like Monaco, that kind of rear-end instability is a serious problem. This is exactly where Lewis Hamilton has been struggling. In the early races of 2025, he's had a hard time with sudden loss of traction and the car behaving unpredictably, making it almost impossible to push with confidence. The problem comes from Ferrari's newer rear wing design on the SF-25. It was built with flexibility in mind, meant to handle all kinds of tracks, from the fast straights of Jeddah to the winding hills of Spa. But Monaco is different. Here, it's not about flexibility, it's about precision. Every turn, every bump, and every millimeter matters. That's why Ferrari is bringing back the older, more focused design from the SF-24. It gives the driver more predictability and control. And it's not just the rear wing getting attention. Behind the scenes, Ferrari's engineers have been working hard to fix deeper problems with the SF-25, like a stiff chassis that doesn't handle bumps well, and an inconsistent ride height that messes with how the car reacts on uneven roads. In Monaco, these small changes matter a lot. The track is super bumpy and tight, with big elevation changes and rough braking zones. Just think about the quick twist at the swimming pool chicane or the tricky corners around Mirabeau and La Rascasse. If a car is too stiff, it's not just a little slower. It can become nearly impossible to drive. The back end can bounce, slide, or even lift off the ground at the worst possible time. That's why Ferrari isn't just stopping with the rear wing. There's another quieter change going on that could make a huge difference. Murray, the team's suspension guru, has started to roll out a new suspension setup. It's not the full upgrade planned for later in the season at Silverstone, but it's still a smart adjustment. They've tweaked the existing parts of the SF-25's rear suspension, using the same mounting points but shifting the angles of some of the parts by about 20 millimeters. That might not sound like much, but on an F1 car, it's huge. These changes help the rear of the car sit a little lower, which improves grip, while still allowing it to absorb bumps and loads from the track more smoothly. In a place like Monaco, where every bump and bounce can ruin a lap, this extra control could be a game changer for Hamilton. This is a big deal for Lewis Hamilton. His biggest frustration this season hasn't been the car's speed, it's been the feel. He's been missing the confidence he needs when braking hard into tight corners or trying to accelerate early on the way out. Hamilton drives with smooth, precise inputs, but the SF-25 just hasn't responded to his style until now. With the new suspension tweaks and the boost in downforce from the older rear wing, things are finally starting to click. The car should feel more stable in the middle of corners, giving Lewis the control he needs to push harder. He'll be able to hit those corner apexes without worrying about the back end suddenly sliding out, a problem that's haunted him at places like Miami and Jeddah. And in Monaco, rear end grip is everything. There are 17 key spots on the track called traction zones, where the car has to go from under 90 kilometers per hour to over 200 kilometers per hour in a super short space. If the rear of the car isn't stable, it slows you down and messes up your tire temperature, even on a single flying lap. And that's where qualifying is either won or lost. Just how important is qualifying in Monaco? Huge. In 18 of the last 20 races here, the winner started from the front row. If these changes give Hamilton just 0.2 to 0.3 seconds more pace on one lap, that could be the difference between starting in P8 or P9 and jumping up to P3 or even P2. That's the kind of boost that changes everything. If Hamilton can qualify up front, it could totally change the course of his race and maybe even his whole season. By the way, if you're enjoying this deep dive so far, make sure to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and stick with us till the end. We're about to look at how these upgrades might not just boost Hamilton in Monaco, they could shake up Ferrari's entire game plan for the rest of 2025. Now back to the setup. In addition to the suspension tweaks, Ferrari has made another smart move. They've softened the dampers just a bit. This helps the car absorb energy better when it hits curbs, especially in tricky spots like Saint-Devote or the tunnel exit. These are places where cars often scrape the ground or bottom out, which can throw everything off. Hamilton is known for being super picky about how the brakes feel. He needs them to be just right. So Ferrari made some small but important changes to the brake bias and cooling ducts to match his preferences. That means he can brake later and harder with more control, which is a huge deal in Monaco. And there's one more critical area: tire warm-up. Ferrari has had a tough time this year getting their tires up to the right temperature quickly, especially on the outlap. That's the lap before a driver goes all out in qualifying. If the tires are too cold, they don't grip well, and that ruins the lap before it even starts. Fixing this could be the key to nailing a perfect qualifying run. Thanks to the added downforce from the SF-25 rear wing and a softer, more flexible suspension, the tires are now expected to heat up more consistently. That's huge. It means Hamilton might finally have a car that's ready to go the moment he starts his flying lap, instead of one that takes 2 corners just to wake up. Put all of this together and the potential is real. It's not a guaranteed win, but it's the best shot he's had all season. For the first time in 2025, Hamilton is heading into a race weekend with a setup that actually fits the track. The mechanical upgrades and aerodynamic changes aren't just technical, they match his driving style. And most importantly, Ferrari is finally listening to him. They didn't just nod along in meetings, they made real changes based on his feedback. So could these upgrades really change everything for Hamilton in Monaco? Based on everything we've looked at, the return of the SF-25's high-downforce rear wing, smart suspension adjustments, new damper settings, and better tire warm-up, it just might. The answer isn't just yes, this might actually be Hamilton's best chance all season to fight for a podium in a regular Grand Prix. These upgrades aren't random fixes, they're laser-focused solutions to the SF-25's biggest problems: a shaky rear end, unpredictable traction, and tires that don't heat up fast enough. And all of those are massive issues on a tight, twisty track like Monaco, especially for a driver like Lewis Hamilton, who performs at his best when the car feels solid and connected underneath him. He's a master at braking late and clean, and he knows exactly how to manage his tires on street circuits better than almost anyone else. So these upgrades aren't just helpful, they're crucial. But there's more to this than just engineering. After weeks of frustration, Hamilton is finally heading into a weekend with a car that's been tuned specifically for him. No more guessing, no more compromise. For the first time this season, Ferrari is saying, "We hear you. Now go show them what you've got." Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc comes into his home race in Monaco still frustrated after Ferrari made the call to pit Hamilton first in Imola, a move that may have cost him a better finish. If Hamilton ends up out-qualifying and outrunning Leclerc here, in Monaco of all places, it could be a turning point not just in the standings, but inside Ferrari itself. And let's not forget what Monaco means: prestige, legacy, and serious pressure. If Hamilton delivers this weekend, if he lands a podium, or even more, it won't just be a great result. It will be the moment Ferrari's 2025 season shifts from a slow breakdown to a silent comeback. So yeah, these leaked upgrades really could change everything, not just for Lewis Hamilton, not just for Ferrari's chances in Monaco, but for how the entire rest of this Formula One season plays out. Thanks for watching all the way through. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more F1 insights, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Hamilton's journey with Ferrari is far from over, and Monaco could be the surprising twist that changes everything.